everyone, what is up? It's Balloon. Welcome back to my channel. Hi, how you doing? Happy Friday. Yes, we've made it to Friday. Congratulations. Well done. Awesome. Great. Now, let's get into the tea. We've got loads to cover today, actually. There really wasn't that much yesterday, but now today I'm like, wow, we have actually got things to talk about. So, I'm going to continue painting my face while we get into all the tea, the drama, the gossip. Oh God, where to start? First off, I'm going to kick off with this. The Hollywood Fix have recently been sharing clips of James Charles. When you go and look in the description box, you find out that these clips are actually not new, they're old clips, and I don't know why the Hollywood Fix are deciding to share these now. However, there is something else that's come out about James Charles very recently. Yesterday, this TikTok was shared where James Charles is going, "Oh, look, a daddy," and then sent this message to this guy on the end of the phone. Okay, so I don't know if this TikTok is recent at all, but it was only shared yesterday. So I'm not sure if it's recent, but it's yet again more proof that James Charles is using TikTok to get hold of guys. And the comment that he put to that guy was, "Oh, look, a daddy." So it's absolutely James Charles using TikTok as a dating app once again, which is what he's been repeatedly called out for sexting minors on TikTok, Snapchat, IG, all of those things, all of those platforms. So if this clip is recent, then what does it tell us? Well, it tells us that James Charles has learned nothing since his time of being off the internet and making that taking accountability video. Honestly, if it's recent, then I'm really not impressed with James Charles at all. Honestly, I think this is just proof that he's not learned anything if the clip is recent. But one thing I am going to say on this whole James Charles thing, whether this particular TikTok is recent or not, it doesn't really matter. Because at the end of the day, James Charles has still admitted to sexting minors, which is, of course, a federal crime. So that does deserve some repercussion, some kind of kickback, some kind of punishment, I guess. I'm going to go in with the Bloodlust palette today, match my purple hair. But while we're on this topic also of minors, sexting minors, being inappropriate with minors, Jeffree Star shared an article yesterday from the LA Times. It was from like 1997 and it was really interesting. It was an article that he shared to do with his mum, went shopping with his mum when he was like 11 years old. And he was going to get a candy bar, saw some porn magazines up there right by the candy bar rack, and oh, his mum kicked off. And I'm like, this is a boss ass bitch, right? His mom kicked off, complained about there being porn mags on display next to all the candy. So when you read through the article, it goes into how Jeffree Star's mum told the clerk, "Do you really think, porn magazines, adult magazines should be here with the candy?" Ended up taking the complaint to City Hall after the clerk was apparently rude to her. And then that resulted in all the porn mags, all the adult mags being covered up so that kids couldn't see them when they were going to get candy. Now, clearly, this is what should have been done in the first place. I really like this because this brings up the topic of sexualization of kids. How many times are kids or were kids shown sexual imagery when they were growing up? Like, me, people my age, Jeffree Star's age, us lot in our 30s, we all know what it was like back in the 90s. It's not the same now, but in the 90s, things were a lot more out there. Things were a lot more on show, on display, and it wasn't like it is now where people are a lot more conscious of what their children see. And I think it's because maybe the internet wasn't as huge back then. We didn't have all these different social media platforms. Yeah, of course we had the internet, we had stuff going on, but it wasn't anything like it really is now. We have MySpace and stuff, but that sort of came a little bit later. So for Jeffree Star's mum to make a complaint and actually get something done about it, that's awesome. That is cool. I like that. Because really, should kids be able to see porn when they're going in to buy a candy. No, absolutely not. They shouldn't. You know, that stuff isn't for kids' eyes. I think anyone would agree on that, you know. You expect it in an adult store, but you don't expect it just, you know, in any old convenience store where there's going to be children going in and out after school and stuff like that. So go Jeffrey's mom. That's a boss-ass bitch move. Getting something done about it. Speaking of Jeffree Star, actually today on my recommended, this came up. It's a Vogue tutorial with Simone, the winner of Drag Race Season 13. Now in the tutorial, when it came to doing lips, Simone held up 3 lip products, one of which was a Jeffree Star lip gloss. But when it came to actually doing the lips in the video, Vogue had clearly cut the video and cut the Jeffree Star lip gloss part out. In the video, you can see Simone using a different brand of lip gloss. So I don't know what happened there, if Vogue have got anything against Jeffree Star or anything like that. But in the tutorial, like I say, they cut it out. And I'm like, whoo, girl, what is going on there? I mean, Simone looks fabulous either way. But why did they cut that part out?
Hey y'all, I am back, all glams from head to toe.
Next up, we're going to talk about Manny MUA. Manny MUA, throughout this pandemic, has been one of the people who's been very, very vocal about staying safe, not going travelling, social distancing and all of that, you know, adhering to all of the rules. But look who's in Mexico now. As of last night, when I looked the information up, Mexico is currently on level 4. So very, very high levels of Rona. So you'd think for someone who's been preaching so much about being safe during this pandemic, you'd think Manny would have much more common sense than this. Seriously, coming from Manny, this is really, really disappointing. And honestly, I think Manny deserves a few slaps on the wrist for this. This is really, really disappointing. Coming from someone who was preaching so much about being safe during the pandemic. And also, I think it's worth noting how silent Manny MUA has been over this whole James Charles scandal with the sexting minors and everything. Manny has literally said nothing about it. And I think that is pretty disgusting. Really disgusting. You know, somebody with such a huge following, you know, he's got millions of subscribers on YouTube. Someone with such a huge following, a huge platform, and he's not standing up against someone who is sexting minors and being inappropriate with minors. Also, allow me to remind you that Manny MUA did do an in-person collab during the pandemic. I think it was about a month, 2 months ago with Halsey. Now, Halsey, the following day, came out and announced her pregnancy as well. So that is doubly shady, doubly dangerous, doubly dodgy. I'm like, Manny, you've been preaching, but then Manny is being problematic. You know, he says one thing, and now here he is out in Mexico where COVID levels are super high. So what kind of example is that setting to his 4 million followers? Also, what kind of example is it setting when he says sweet FA about James Charles' recent behaviour? Honestly, I'm like, God, some of these people really don't deserve the platforms that they've got when they behave in the ways that they do. I think this is kind of shocking, and I wish that more people would be calling Manny MUA out for this stuff, because seriously, he deserves it. How come when it comes to other influencers like Patrick Star, Nikita Dragon, they're all being called out for this stuff, but Manny MUA is just kind of flying under the radar? Are we just going to let it go? I'm not. Okay, so my look is starting to come together on the eyes. You can see I'm going for like a wiggly kind of cloudy shape here. I did that with the Sensorium Brow Engineer, the platinum one. So I cut it out with that, and then went in with a little bit of the white from the Blood Slut palette, the Bloodlust palette there, and then just carried on using purples. So I'm going to do some stuff under the eye and add some extra stuff. So I'm going to say take care, stay safe, stay well. Let me know what you think about all the drama with James Charles, Manny MUA, Jeffree Star, all this stuff going on. There's a lot more to get into today. There's a lot more to talk about. So I'm going to go finish my face and I'll be back later on. So I'm going to say love you guys. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you on the next one. Bye guys.